This one is a patron vote winner, and it references 118 political, cultural, scientific events that happened in history between 1949 and 1989. And apparently it was such a pain in the butt to learn because there is so much information in it. I don't think I've ever heard it before. I've listened to a lot of Billy Joel music, but for some reason this has passed me by. So it sounds fun. Quite fast as well. I like the drums in it. The bongos.
Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio, Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Studebaker, television, North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe.
Whoa, I like these little slides he gets in.
Rosenberg's H-bomb, Sugar Ray, Pamela, John Brando, the King and I, and the Catcher in the Rye. Eisenhower vaccine, England's got a new queen, Marciano, Liberace, Sansa, and a goodbye.
Amazing ends of words, but you can hear like good queen. He's getting so many words in that he needs to kind of breathe really, really quickly, and I sympathize. But you know, he catches his breath really, really well, and then has that beautiful end note with a lovely vibrato on the end, which is really, really nice. Now, he said when he wrote this song, he was saying it was in the 70s and he was in his 40s, and he was feeling like everything's quite terrible. And someone said, a friend of his who was like 21 said, well, you know, it's different for you. Nothing happened in your times. This sounds a little bit like what people kind of are saying now. Nothing happened for you. Nothing terrible happened. And he thought, wait a minute. And then decided to write down all these things that had been happening throughout the time that he'd been alive, and was like, wait, loads has happened. And he made this song.
Joseph Stalin, Malankov, Nasser and Prokofiev, Rockefeller, Campanella, Communist Bloc, Roy Cohn, Juan Perot, Toscanini, Dacron, Yen Yen, Fu, rock around the clock. Einstein, James Dean, Brooklyn's got a winning team, Davy Crockett, Peter Pan, Elvis Presley, Disneyland, Bardo, Budapest, Alabama, Khrushchev, Princess Grace, Peyton Place, Trouble in the Suez.
It's like a history lesson. I'm like, oh yeah. I love how he has that wonderful, I'm going to go back because I really like this little guitar riff, but I love how he has such a distinctive way of getting off notes. It's often with a slide down. He has such a wonderful vibrato, and it's kind of interesting because he was someone who didn't see himself as someone who was going to go into music, and he was forced into piano lessons, and then he saw the Beatles and was like, wow, and was really into songwriting and storytelling, and you can tell that from this writing. Now, actually, I always think of Billy Joel as a great melody writer, and this isn't an example of some of his melodies really, because it is quite one note based, but it has got a really interesting idea. So even when he's not going towards that melody based writing, which I personally really love, he is finding something that is unique and interesting. Like, I don't know any other songs that have this much information in. Maybe you do. Maybe like an Eminem rap or something does. Little Buddy Holly. That was actually really clever because he's like, right, here we are, 50s. And I'm going to put a little Buddy Holly reference in. A little musical reference. I like it. Yeah. Very clever, I love that. That way of introducing an era. Or a decade.
Hemingway, Eichmann, stranger in a strange land, ill in Berlin, Bay of Pigs invasion, Lawrence of Arabia, British Beatlemania, Ole Miss, John Glenn, Liston meets Patterson, Pope Paul, Malcolm X, British politician, sex, JFK, blown away. What else do I have to say?
Love it. It's always been burning since the world's been turning. I think that's the lyrics. You know, it really got me thinking, this is outside of music, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, how we are, I think we're in a place where generations are blaming each other a lot for things that are going on in the world, and, the younger generation have often a different opinion to the older generations on how the world should be, not always, but sometimes, and we really could do a stepping aside from this blame game, I personally think, and just working together, because maybe the world always has been a little bit on fire, and so when it feels particularly icky, then I think that means that then that should be our signal to look at togetherness, personally.
Punk rock, Reagan, Palestine, terror on the airline, Ayatollahs in Iran, Russians in Afghanistan, Wheel of Fortune, Sally Ride, heavy metal, suicide, foreign deaths, homelessness, AIDS, crack, burning gas, hypodermics on the shore, China's under martial law, rock and roll, cola wars, I can't fight it anymore.
Sometimes he has such an ability to really hit those high notes, and it has that grit and power in it. And actually, he's interesting. He's always been a little bit resistant to the music industry world. And when he first went into it, he said, "Oh, I don't think I'm really a singer. But I think I'm a songwriter. I'd like to write music for other people." And people just kept on saying, "Well, if you want to write music, write your own album." And then he did, but he didn't ever really want to do it. He just happened to be really good at it. I love how he's playing around with the different fires. So you've got fire, yeah, so it's like yeah. So he's using like yeah instead of an like a Y sound, or fire, just an sound, or fire. There's a slight on some of them. So he's kind of mixing and matching just to make it, give it a little bit of variety in there. Cool song. What an interesting song. I feel like I want to sit down and analyze the lyrics and be like, aha, what was going on? Remember all that history. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.